At a community health event last month, I was observing men over 60 move through their day, and I noticed something fascinating that separated those who were thriving from those who were merely getting by. Most couldn't do one simple thing, a thing that instantly revealed their true functional strength. But the few who could, they moved through life with a vitality that made everyone around them take notice. Here's what most people don't realize. Most men over 60 have already accepted that their bodies and minds will inevitably decline. They've surrendered to weakness as if it's written in stone. But if you can still do these 7 things, you're not just surviving, you're genuinely thriving. Before we go through these 7 markers of functional strength, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments. I love seeing where this community reaches. I'm Dr. Narita, and I've spent the past 12 years working with men over 60 to help them maintain their independence, vitality, and quality of life. What I've learned is that age itself isn't the problem. It's what we stop doing that creates the decline. So let's explore these 7 abilities, and as we go through them, I want you to honestly assess where you stand. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness, because awareness is the first step toward maintaining what you have or rebuilding what you've lost. Let's start with the first one, and it's something you probably do every day without thinking about it. Can you climb 2 flights of stairs without gasping for breath? This sounds simple, but if you can do this comfortably, you're already ahead of about 60% of men your age. Those stairs aren't just testing your lungs, they're testing your cardiovascular system, your leg strength, your endurance. Every step up is a statement that your heart is still pumping efficiently, your muscles are still responding, and your body is still capable. Why does this matter? Because cardiovascular health is the foundation of independence. It determines whether you can walk through a parking lot without exhaustion, whether you can play with your grandchildren, whether you can travel and explore new places. Men who can handle stairs effortlessly have the cardiovascular reserve to keep living actively instead of managing every movement cautiously. Here's what the science shows. A 2024 meta-analysis of 9 studies involving nearly 500,000 participants found that people who regularly climb stairs have a 39% lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease and a 24% lower chance of dying from any cause. Think about that, 39%. The simple act of taking stairs instead of elevators is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity we have. But it's not just about mortality statistics, it's about what stairs represent. When you climb stairs without struggling, you're demonstrating that your heart can handle increased demand. Your blood vessels are still flexible and responsive. Your leg muscles have enough power to lift your body weight repeatedly against gravity. This is functional fitness in its purest form. If you struggle with stairs right now, don't worry. This is one of the most trainable abilities. Start with 1 flight, rest, then 1 more. Gradually, your heart and lungs will adapt. Your body wants to improve. It's designed for it. You just have to give it the right stimulus. Now, physical strength is one thing, but the second marker goes straight to your brain. Can you squeeze a set of car keys hard enough that your hand doesn't shake? Most men dismiss grip strength as something trivial. But here's what researchers have discovered. Grip strength is one of the most reliable biomarkers of overall health and longevity in older adults. A 2025 study tracking thousands of adults found that men with the weakest grip strength in their 60s were 20% more likely to die within the next decade compared to those with the strongest grips. Your hands tell the story of your entire muscular system. When you squeeze something, you're not just using your fingers and forearms. You're activating neural pathways from your brain down through your spinal cord. You're revealing the integrity of your nervous system, the quality of your muscle mass, and the efficiency of your neuromuscular connections. But grip strength reveals something even more profound. Recent research from 2023 shows that low hand grip strength is strongly associated with cognitive decline over time. The connection isn't coincidental. Both grip strength and cognitive function depend on the same underlying systems: healthy neurons, efficient blood flow, and well-maintained muscle tissue. When one declines, the other often follows. Think about what strong hands allow you to do. Open jars without asking for help. Carry groceries without strain. Work with tools. Maintain your independence in 1,000 small but crucial ways. Every time you use your hands with confidence, you're asserting autonomy over your environment. And here's the good news. Grip strength is trainable at any age. Squeeze a tennis ball while watching TV. Do farmer's carries with heavy grocery bags. Use hand grippers. Resistance training for your hands and forearms sends powerful signals to your brain that you're still needed, still vital, still engaged with the world. The third test separates those with physical confidence from those who've lost trust in their own bodies. Can you stand on one leg for 10 seconds without wobbling or needing support? Balance isn't just about not falling. It's about trusting your body completely. This ability comes from a complex system involving your inner ear, your vision, your proprioception, which is your body's sense of where it is in space, and your core strength. When all these work together, you move through the world with confidence. A 2022 study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine tracked over 1,700 adults aged 51 to 75 for 7 years. The researchers found that inability to balance on one leg for 10 seconds was associated with an 84% higher risk of death from any cause during the follow-up period. 84%. Let that sink in. Balance is the foundation of independent movement. It's what allows you to walk on uneven ground, to step over obstacles, to catch yourself if you stumble. When you have good balance, you navigate life without that constant underlying fear of falling. You trust your body to respond correctly in unpredictable situations. Most men your age have already started restricting their movements because their balance isn't what it used to be. They avoid uneven surfaces. They hold onto railings constantly. They move tentatively, as if they're walking on ice. But every time you restrict movement out of fear, you accelerate the very decline you're trying to avoid. Your balance system operates on a use it or lose it principle. The neural pathways that control balance need constant challenge to maintain their efficiency. When you stop challenging them, they atrophy rapidly. The beautiful thing? Balance is highly trainable. Stand on one leg while brushing your teeth. Practice heel-to-toe walking in your hallway. Try Tai Chi or yoga. These simple activities rewire your nervous system and strengthen your stabilizing muscles. Within weeks, you'll notice improvement. Within months, you'll move with a confidence you thought was gone forever. Now, I want to hear from you. Take a moment and comment below. Which of these abilities do you feel strongest in? I read every comment, and your responses help me understand what resonates with you. Let's move on, because physical abilities mean nothing without cognitive sharpness. The fourth marker tests whether your brain is still processing at full capacity. Can you recall what you ate for dinner 3 nights ago without really thinking hard about it? This might seem trivial, but it's actually a powerful indicator of cognitive function. Most men your age are losing their mental sharpness, forgetting names, misplacing keys, living in a fog of confusion that makes them feel disconnected from their own lives. But sharp memory means your brain is still processing, storing, and retrieving information efficiently. Your hippocampus, the brain's memory center, needs consistent blood flow, oxygen, and stimulation to function well. When you exercise, sleep properly, and engage your mind, you're literally feeding this part of your brain. Recent studies have shown that cognitive decline is not inevitable. It's often the result of lifestyle factors that are completely within your control. What's happening when memory starts to fade? Several things. Blood flow to the brain decreases if cardiovascular health declines. Neural connections weaken if they're not regularly used. Inflammation can damage brain tissue if diet and stress aren't managed. But here's the critical insight. All of these factors are reversible to some degree. Memory is a use it or lose it system. When you actively engage your brain, learning new skills, having challenging conversations, reading complex material, solving problems, you're building and maintaining neural pathways. You're strengthening the very infrastructure that memory depends on. If your memory feels foggy right now, there are things you can do. Learn something new each week. Do puzzles. Read books that challenge you. Have conversations that require you to think deeply. Movement is also crucial because what's good for your heart is good for your brain. The same cardiovascular exercise that helps you climb stairs also pumps nutrient-rich blood to your hippocampus. The fifth ability reveals something most men never consider until it's too late. Can you sit down on the floor and stand back up without using your hands? This is called the sit and rise test, and it's one of the most powerful predictors of longevity ever discovered. A landmark Brazilian study followed over 2,000 adults for 6 years. They found that people who could easily sit on the floor and stand back up without hand support had dramatically lower mortality rates than those who couldn't. The test isn't measuring just one thing. It's measuring your entire functional capacity. To sit down and stand up without hands requires leg strength, hip flexibility, core stability, balance, and body awareness all working together. It's a real-world test of whether your body still functions as an integrated unit, or whether it's begun fragmenting into separate struggling systems. Think about what this ability represents. It means you can get down to play with grandchildren and get back up. It means if you drop something, you can retrieve it without an elaborate strategy. It means you haven't lost the fundamental human capacity to control your body in space. Most men over 60 have already surrendered this ability. They avoid getting on the floor because they know it's going to be a struggle to get back up. They've accepted this limitation as inevitable. But this acceptance accelerates decline. Every time you avoid a movement because it's hard, you're training your body that it doesn't need that capability anymore. Your body is remarkably adaptive. If you stop doing something, your body assumes you don't need it and redirects resources elsewhere. Your muscles shrink, your joints stiffen, your neural patterns adapt to a smaller range of motion. The decline becomes self-reinforcing. But the reverse is also true. If you practice getting down and up from the floor, even if you need to use your hands at first, you're sending powerful signals to your body that this ability matters. Your muscles will strengthen, your joints will regain mobility, your coordination will improve. Within weeks, what seemed impossible becomes manageable. Within months, it becomes easy. The sixth marker tests something that's invisible but absolutely critical to longevity. Can you name 3 people you could call right now who would genuinely want to talk to you? This isn't about physical or cognitive ability, it's about social connection. And research shows it's just as important for longevity as exercise or diet. A 2025 World Health Organization report analyzing multiple studies found that strong social connections are linked to reduced risk of early death, with social isolation carrying health risks equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. Most men your age have watched their social circles shrink. Friends have moved away or passed, work relationships ended with retirement, family members are busy with their own lives. The daily interactions that once provided connection and purpose have disappeared, leaving a void that's hard to acknowledge and even harder to fill. But here's what the science reveals. Social connection isn't just about feeling good. It has direct biological effects. People with strong social ties have lower levels of inflammation, better immune function, and more stable cardiovascular systems. Loneliness, on the other hand, triggers stress responses that damage nearly every system in your body over time. Think about the men you know who thrived into their 80s and 90s. Almost all of them maintained strong social connections. They had friends they saw regularly, they participated in communities, they had people who counted on them, and people they could count on. This wasn't coincidental, it was foundational to their longevity. If you're feeling isolated right now, this is fixable. Join a group centered on something you care about. Volunteer, reconnect with old friends, make the first move instead of waiting for others to reach out. It feels vulnerable, yes, but the alternative, slow isolation, is far more dangerous. Social connection gives life meaning. It keeps your mind engaged. It provides reasons to get out of bed, to take care of yourself, to stay present in the world. These aren't soft benefits. They're survival advantages that show up in mortality statistics with remarkable consistency. The seventh and final marker reveals whether you still possess the quality that defines masculine vitality at its deepest level. Can you still initiate something new? A project, a skill, a relationship, without needing permission or validation? This isn't about physical ability, it's about agency. It's about whether you still see yourself as a man who acts on the world or one who merely reacts to it. Most men over 60 have slipped into passivity. They wait for others to suggest activities. They've stopped starting new things. They've become spectators in their own lives. But men who thrive maintain agency. They decide they want to learn woodworking and they start. They decide to take up painting and they begin. They see something that needs doing and they do it. They don't wait for perfect conditions or unanimous approval. They act from internal authority. This quality, decisive initiation, is deeply connected to every other marker we've discussed. When you maintain agency, you're more likely to exercise because you've decided it matters. You're more likely to challenge your brain because you've chosen to keep learning. You're more likely to maintain social connections because you're actively building them. Agency is also the best predictor of mental health in older adults. Men who retain the capacity to start things, to make decisions, to shape their environment, maintain significantly lower rates of depression and anxiety. Purpose isn't found, it's created through action. If you felt yourself slipping into passivity, this is the moment to reverse it. Choose one thing, anything, that you'll initiate this week. Not something you should do, something you want to do. Something that comes from your own desire rather than external obligation. The content doesn't matter. The act of initiation does. When you initiate, you're telling yourself and the world that you're still here, still relevant, still a force. You're refusing the script that says your best years are behind you. You're asserting that you have agency over your remaining time. So let's bring this together. If you can do all 7 of these things, climb stairs without gasping, maintain strong grip, balance confidently, remember clearly, get up from the floor, connect socially, and initiate purposefully, you're not just surviving. You're thriving in ways that most men your age have already surrendered. But here's what matters most. Even if you struggled with every single one of these tests, you're not finished. Every one of these abilities is trainable. Your body wants to improve. Your brain wants to stay sharp. Your life wants to have meaning. You just have to give yourself permission to start. Age doesn't determine your capabilities. Your daily choices do. The man who climbs stairs today is building the cardiovascular system that will serve him for decades. The man who challenges his balance is protecting himself from the falls that end independence. The man who maintains relationships is investing in the social bonds that predict longevity. The man who initiates is creating the purpose that makes life worth living. You're watching this video because some part of you knows you're capable of more. Trust that instinct. Start with one ability. Practice it consistently. When it improves, and it will, add another. Progress compounds. Small improvements accumulate into transformative change. The men who thrive into their 80s and 90s aren't genetic outliers. They're men who refuse to accept decline as inevitable. They challenge their bodies and minds consistently. They stayed connected to others and engaged with life. They kept deciding that they mattered. You're one of them, not someday, right now. Before you go, I want to ask you one thing. Pick the ability that challenged you most today. Comment below which one it is, because naming it is the first step toward reclaiming it. And if you found value in this, share it with another man who needs to hear it. We're building a community of men who refuse to surrender to weakness. Stay strong, stay engaged, stay vital.